Okay,
Good
so
morning,
in
Dilip.
our previous class, we have discussed about the data types. So we have discussed all the data types: string, boolean, ID, date, time, date time, integer, long, decimal, double, blob, object, and S object types. Okay, and we have also, mapped the relation of our data types in Apex to the data types which we have discussed as part of configuration. So which were there in our Salesforce. Okay. Yeah. Let me share. So here, if you go to fields and relationships, when you click any creating a new field, you have these data types, right? So we have discussed all these 19 types of data types, which as part of our configuration already. So yeah, so from our Apex data types, we already discussed like how we are mapping. Okay, so let's take an example of integer data type. So we are going to map it with a number. So let's take an example of string data type. So we are going to map it with text, text area long, text area rich, right? Text encrypted also. So all those, right? So we have discussed even the mapping also between the different data types. And then after that, we have discussed something about the variables. So what a variable is, it's just used to hold the address memory allocation. So address of the memory allocation, right? So how to define a variable we have discussed. So, and also how to assign values to the variables we have discussed. So it's just with our equal to operator. So we know all our operators, operands, all the different types of operators available, right? The 5 types we have discussed that. And then, right, these are the 5 types of operators: arithmetic, relational, logic, incremental, assignment operators. So yeah, so till here we have discussed. So I hope you all understood what an operator does, what is an operand, and how an operator performs an action on an operand. Okay. Okay. So one interesting point I wanted to tell you with this plus operator. Okay. So in other programming languages, they have used different operators for, adding integers or, okay. But in our Apex, we will be using this plus operator for, performing the additions as well as performing the concatenation on the strings. Okay. So this operator behaves in 2 different ways based on the operands provided. So if I give it as 10 plus 20, so it's going to perform the addition operation. But if I give it as something like, well, plus come, so it is just going to give the output as welcome. Okay, so it's just going to concatenate. So based on the operands provided, it is going to change its behavior. So that's the, you know, uh, default behavior for our addition operator. Yeah, plus sign. Yeah, we can do both the operations, addition as well as concatenation. And we discussed about the quotient modulus operator as well, and equals to and equals function as well, right? And then the increment decremental operators, and then assignment operators. Okay. So now let's talk about our output statements. So similar to our any other programming language, we have a separate output statement with our Apex. So if you take an example of other programming languages, uh, let's say take, C, we have a statement called printf, right? An output statement. Let's go to Java. We have system.out.println, right? So that is used as an output, output statement. Okay. So similarly, in our Apex, we have a statement. Okay. So by using the output statements, we can print or write the message on the debug log file. So syntax is system.debug. So system is a class of which debug is a method which is calling the file. Okay, debug file. So this is uh, output message which we are giving. So if we write this code and just execute it, so the output we are going to get is message to print on debug log file. That is the output we are going to get. Yeah, similarly, we can write down this. See, for let's say in other programming languages, we will be working on with the uh, command prompt as well. But as part of Salesforce Apex, we don't have anything like command prompt. We are going to work on the browser itself for writing our code as well as displaying our output on the output also. Okay, so we are doing everything on the browser itself. So the main thing is it's like Apex is all on the cloud based, Salesforce is all cloud based. So you don't need to install anything. Okay, right. So this is about output statements. So let's go ahead and see how we are going to execute our Apex code. Okay. Right. There are four ways to write the Apex code: by using the execute anonymous window, by using the developer console, and by using URL format and the VS Code IDE. So we are going to deal only the first two initially, maybe the later uh, in the last, the others in the last. Okay, URL format is not used mostly, and VS Code we are not going to use right away, but yes, in the Lightning web components classes, we will be making use of it. Okay, right. So let me show you how this execute anonymous window looks like. So let's go to our org again. Okay. So here on our org, this setup, if you click on setup, you have setup icon, and then you have something called developer console. So you can click on developer console and it shares another window of developer console. Okay. Right. So this is our developer console. This is how our developer console looks like. Okay. And so first thing we are going to go to open anonymous, execute anonymous window. And here is where you can execute, write the code and execute the code. Okay. So initially we are going to work on the execute anonymous window till we are going to go with the object-oriented programming concepts. Till that time, we would be writing our code on execute anonymous window. Okay, right. So those are the four ways through which you can write the Apex code. So usually we are not using the Visual Studio Code for, you know, writing the any type of Apex classes, even the integrations code also we can go ahead with the developer console itself. But the latest implementation in around 2018, December late 2018 or 2019, so Salesforce has come up with the Lightning Web Components. So this one for writing code for sales Lightning Web Components, we need the Visual Studio Code. Okay, so VS Code is needed compulsory for writing the Lightning Web Components. Yeah, let me show you how VS Code looks like. Yeah, this is how the Visual Studio Code looks like. And you have everything out here. You can write down your classes. Yeah. So here you can write down your classes, your Aura components, applications you can design. You can write down the Lightning Web components in the LWC folder. So everything is here. Okay. So you can write down the code here and deploy it to your Salesforce org, and then it's going to work there. Okay. So as part of Lightning Web components, so we will have to write the code here itself because it's going to have HTML, JavaScript, and the .xml file, three different files for our application. So yes, for writing Lightning Web Components, you need the VS Code. But for our programming, the basic programming or any type of, even integrations also, we can do writing Apex code in our developer console itself. Okay. Right. Okay, so let's go to the next part of our class. So how we are going to execute our Apex code. So there are like 10 different ways how we are going to execute our Apex code. Salesforce provides the below 10 ways to invoke the Apex code. So we can execute by using the execute anonymous window. Yeah, this is where we are going to work for at least a couple of classes. Okay. And by using triggers, we can execute. By using batch programming or batch Apex, we can execute. By using schedule programming, we can execute. By using flows, flow builder, lightning flows. Right. So here, actually, we had something called workflows, process builder. So these were, previous automation tools as part of Salesforce CRM. But yes, the Salesforce is going to deprecate them probably by the end of this year, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, okay, let me show you right here. See here, workflow rules. When I click here, this is, you can search for workflows, workflow actions, or workflow rules, and go ahead and click on new. So here you see a message, right? So Flow Builder is the future of low-code automation. You can use it to create most of the automation found in workflow rules. Start using flows today. So that's what, so for now, as of now, it hasn't deprecated the workflow rules, but it will be doing by end of this year or the starting of next year, probably. Okay, so that's where you are advised to go ahead and use the flow builder, or it is called flows, or it is called lightning flows. Okay, so we will have at least like 2 to 3 classes on lightning flows. Yes, we are going to have that. Okay, we are going to discuss. So yes, by using the flows also, we can execute our Apex code. By using Visual Force pages, we can execute our Apex code. By using email services, web services, APIs, and then the last one, the VS Code editor also we can execute. Okay. So these are the 10 ways where we can execute. So here in this place, we had like workflows and process builder, but those are going to be deprecated. That's where we replaced it with flows, flow builder, or lightning flows. Okay. Right. So execute from anonymous window. So right. So what is this execute anonymous window? It's just a code editor given by Salesforce as part of our CRM itself. So we are going to run our code on our execute anonymous window to get the output of our required. Okay, so it's a cloud-based editor, can be accessible with the help of browser. In this editor, we can write, compile, execute the Apex code, and view the results inside the debug log file. It won't save the code in metadata repository, right? That's where the name suggests, right? Anonymous. So we are not going to store anything on the metadata repository as of now, but yes, we would be doing that with the help of developer console while we are going to start making use of object-oriented programming. Okay. So this is the navigation setup, developer console, and in the developer console debug menu, so we open execute anonymous window, like the shortcut is Control plus E. Okay, write code inside the editor. Okay, so these are all the options which are given. So let's go ahead and have a look at. So let's go back to our org, share. Okay, so now I'm not going to work on this. So I'll go to setup, developer console. Okay. Right. So this is our developer console. So here we have the area where we write our code, and this is uh, tabs. We have a couple of tabs here where we can understand things based on the tabs. All our logs will reside here, tests will reside, we can check points, and queries we can write here by using the query editor. And if our code has some problems, so it is going to display it here. And these are the menus which are part of developer console. Okay, so file menu. So here you can see everything, right? You can create an Apex class, everything. And debug control, yeah, this is our go-to place for now. And we have workflow, workspaces, and then the shortcut keys, tests. Okay, so let's go to anonymous window. Yeah, this is our execute anonymous window. Okay, so let me maximize. Oh, you can see. So sometimes this pane will not be displayed. It will be in the down sometimes. So you just need to drag it and keep it up. Okay. So let's go to execute anonymous window. And I need to share this window to maximize it. So I just maximized the execute anonymous window. Yeah, you can see it. Right. So this is the place where we are going to write code for a few days. So till we learn the object-oriented programming. Right. So let's take, so this is our editor, which is given by Salesforce, where we go ahead and write our Apex programs. Okay, so let's take an example of our C programming. So how we are going to write our C programming, let's say C program start, we will be doing something called hash include some stdio.h something, the header files or the library files, and then we will be writing our uh, main program, right? And yeah, here is where we write our code, right? So this is like we are going to make use of the library files. That's why we include those files in our program. So this is how we write in C. So in Java also we have similar kind of importing the files from the libraries, right? So, right. Let's go to our Apex programming. Right. So welcome to, so in Apex programming, we can just start our code. So this is the debug statement. Okay. So yeah. So in our Apex code, we don't need to include anything, any kind of header files, any kind of library files like we are doing in other programming. Okay. So we don't need all those. We just need to go ahead and just write down our code, whatever is needed. So, and everything else, Salesforce is going to take care of it. Okay. So all the library related information, library related files, classes, subclasses, methods, uh, okay, all these are going to be imported by default with the help of Salesforce itself. So we are not going to explicitly write down any import import kind of statements. Okay, so we can just go ahead and write our code, right? So yeah, there is one important, yeah, if you see, so as soon as type something, it is showing me the available methods, right? So and you can also see in the first line we see S as capital, here we see S is small. So that means our Apex is not case sensitive. That's the good thing about Apex. And yeah, this feature is called IntelliSense feature, which I told you in our previous class yesterday, right? So Salesforce has achieved this feature with the help of something called reflections. Yeah, if you are aware in Java, we have reflections. So similarly, so by making use of reflections, Salesforce has achieved this intelligence feature where we are not going to remember all the methods in a class, but we can get them, we can see them whenever we go ahead and type our class name dot, and then with the letter starting with each classes or subclasses or methods, right? Okay, so yeah, when I say reflection, yeah, let's take example. If we are all in class, probably I could see all your faces, right? And you can see me, obviously, right? But I cannot see my face, right? So I cannot see. So for that, what do I need to do? I just need to go and stand in front of a mirror and then I can see myself. So that's where the reflection is stay working. So it is going to, as soon as we type a class name here, it is going to make use of the reflections and going to show us all the methods, subclasses, variables, which are already available as part of that particular class. So it is going to show that. Okay. Right. This is how the IntelliSense works in the even in the execute anonymous window also. Okay. Even in our VS Code also it works here, and in the developer console also it works. Okay. Right. So yes, this is our first line of code, and every line in Apex ends with a semicolon. Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's go ahead. So yes, this is our first line of code. And here in the execute anonymous window, you just see the line numbers, and here you see some options, right? Execute highlighted, okay, open log. So execute, in the sense, it's going to execute the complete code which is written here. Execute highlighted is going to execute only the highlighted part of the code. So let's say if I have 100 lines of code, I need to execute only 2 lines. So I can select those 2 lines and then click on execute highlighted. Okay. And execute, it's going to execute all the code. And open log, yeah, what we are going to do with the open log, let me show you. So let's go ahead and execute it. So yes, it has sent a request to the server, and the output file, to see the output file, we will have to, right. So to see the output file, we have to go to our, so we have to go to our developer console, and here you see this tab logs, right? So here is our log file which is generated. So in other programming languages, we have the command prompt console for displaying the outputs, but in Salesforce, everything is being done through the editor with the help of browser. Okay, so even the output file, every output is going to be showed in a file called debug log file. So it's going to generate a file, and that file is going to consist of our complete output information. Okay. So here, if you see, this is the debug log file got generated for our 1 line of code, and it's success, and you see it's unread, right? So I can go ahead and double click this, and then it opens, right? So this is how our debug log file looks. So here, if you see, so first it is going to gather the first line, it is going to gather the user information and understand whether this user is having the one permission. What is that permission? To write Apex code in the profile. Anyone remember? So we need to have a permission uh, in the profile to write Apex classes. What permission is that? Anyone remember? So we have a checkbox where that checkbox needs to be ticked for us to write Apex classes. No idea? All right. So other Apex. Okay. So we have a permission called other Apex. So that permission need to be checked. So here in this first line, the debug log file is going to check the permissions, whether we are eligible to write the code or not. And then this is the user ID. Okay. So the currently logged in user ID. User object ID is 005. So any user ID will be starting with 005. Okay. So this is the currently logged in user ID. So my user ID, this is ID. Okay. And it is going to give complete information here. And then the execution started. So code execution started here. It's an anonymous window. Okay. In the first line, it found nothing because we have written our code not in the first line. Yeah, let me show you. Sorry. Right, third line. So let's go. So here, if you see, it's going to allocate the memory allocation here. And so complete information, statement, each line by line, everything it is going to execute, and it is going to show the messages. Okay, how many bytes are used. So this is our output statement, which we are looking for. The third line, it is displaying our output, right? So here, if you come down, there are a couple of things which, the debug log file is going to maintain the complete history of your program. Okay, how much of your SQL queries has been used in your program, how many rows of query rows has been used, how many SOSL queries has been used, DML statements has been used. So these are all again the Garner limits. Okay. So it is all displaying how much of the information has been used in our particular program. So all this information it is going to display on every execution. Okay, on every execution of any program, it's going to display all this information. So here, so if I don't want all this to be displayed, but if you are very cautious about the Garner limits, probably you may need to see everything and see how many SQL queries has been touched in my current program. So you can see that. Okay. So these are the Garner limits. So while writing code, the best practice is to avoid touching the Garner limits. You should never go ahead and touch the Garner limits, which is going to, degrade the performance of your program. Okay. So yes, so I don't want to see all this. I just want to see my output statement. You can go ahead and click on this checkbox, debug only, and it is going to display only the output. Okay, right? And here as part of anonymous window, so I don't want to go ahead with so many steps here. So what we can do is here we have an option called open log, right? So we can check this and click on this, and the log file will be automatically opened for us. Okay, let's do a demo of other statement. You are executing from execute anonymous window. Okay, so this is what we are going to display. So I want to execute completely and I want to open log. First of all, let me minimize. Just hold on. Right. Okay. So here is our, so I clicked on open log. So the log is going to be displayed here automatically. I don't need to go and go ahead and open the log file here. Okay. So execute W is gone. Execute anonymous window. Okay. So it should be displaying like this only. Let's see. Right. You are executing from execute anonymous window. W is missing, right? Right. So it's going to display the output here. So this is how we write a program in our Apex, making use of the developer console. And then from there, we go to the execute anonymous window. Okay. So let me, right. So let us go ahead and take an assignment. So our assignment would be like write an Apex program to print the welcome message on the debug log file. Yes, that is what we did, right? Okay. So let's, for your convenience, I'm closing everything for now and let us open them all at once. So yes, so you can go to your Salesforce org. Let's say we are here or here. Okay, so we are on our Salesforce org on the home screen. Okay, go to the, yeah, you can see, go to the setup icon, gear icon, And from there, go to the developer console, and your developer console opens. Ah, can you see this? Yeah. Right. So this is our developer console. And from here, I'm going to execute anonymous window debug. You can use Control E also to open the execute anonymous window. And here I'm going to write my first program, that is a small code of welcome, right? System.debug, welcome to Apex programming. So here, if you see, we need single quotes because this is a string we are going to display. Okay. Okay. And the second line, this is the first Apex programming through execute anonymous window. Okay. So this is our second line. So let's go ahead and execute this. We want to open the log file by itself. So to reduce the number of steps unnecessarily, I clicked on execute and it is going to send a request to the server and the log file is going to be displayed here. And I don't want the whole log. I just want debug statements. Yeah, this is our output. Okay, welcome to Apex programming. This is our first Apex program through execute anonymous window. Okay. I'm showing this again because for you to be comfortable in the navigation. Hope you are fine how to open my execute anonymous window. So you should be understanding it by now, or I would feel you are comfortable opening things. Okay. Right. Let's go to our class. Yeah. So we did this assignment. So write an Apex program to print the welcome message. Yes. This is a small welcome message with our system.debug statement. Okay. So let's go ahead and do a little bigger one now. That is write an Apex program to define two variables and assign values to print the values on the log file. Okay. Right. So here we can write it, obviously. Let's go. Okay, let's go to our anonymous window. Okay, you can give Control E to open our anonymous window. And what we are going to do is we are going to write a code to define two variables. Okay, so you just go ahead and do integer space customer code. Okay, this is one variable I'm defining. Integer, and then let's see, customer name. Right. So, and we are going to just show them up. So best practice is used to make use of camel case. The first letter will be small, the next letters will be capital letters. Okay. And then we are going to display these two values. Right. Do we need a single quote here in our system.debug statement to just show the customer code?
No, because it's an integer.
Good. Yes. So we don't need it. So I was telling you, right? So whenever we define a variable, what Salesforce is going to store in that particular variable? Anyone remember? So I just defined the variable. I haven't assigned any value to that particular variable. So what Salesforce is going to do? Yesterday, I have shown you in the paint.
Binary code.
No. No, what is the default value
Null.
assigned to any?
Null.
Yeah, right. That's right. So I told you, right? So it's going to by default assign, if you don't assign any value to a variable, it is going to store null value in that particular variable. Okay. So for that, what is the proof? Okay. So here is the proof. Let's go ahead and print these two values. So we just defined these two variables, customer code, customer name, and we are just printing those values. Okay. So that means we haven't assigned any value to this variable. Okay. So what should it print? It should print null. So that's where we are proving that Salesforce is by default assigning null value if we don't define any value to a variable. Okay. If we don't assign any value to a variable. So this is the proof. Let's go ahead and execute it. Hope our statements are clear. Yeah. Integer customer code, integer customer name, semicolon is needed, and our two debug log statements. Okay. It's going to execute, and I just want to see only debug statements. See, here is the proof. Okay. So by default, Salesforce is going to assign null to null value to variables if they are not assigned with any value. Okay. So this is the proof, right? So now I want to go ahead and uh, what what do I need to do? I will see that I assign some values to these variables. Okay. So here in the statements, I just want to customer code equals to some 2023 and customer name equals to. So here, do I need to use single quotes? No, since it's a number. Okay. So here there is, we defined it as integer. So here also, we don't want to define it as integer. I want to change it to string now. Okay. So because I want to give name to the customer, let's say some name, customer name, Ash. Okay. So I define it as string variable now. Okay. Let's see. So now again, I wanted to print these values. So here, so in this debug statement, what it is going to print now in this particular statement? Anyone? What will be the value printed? 2023. Okay. So now we have assigned the value to the customer code variable. That's why it is going to take that value. Okay. And in this statement, it is going to print Ash. Okay. The name. So we have made a change. We changed the customer name as string type, data type. Okay. Right. So it should display null first and it should display the actual values first. Okay. Then next. Okay. So let's go ahead and execute. I just want debug. Okay. You can see the values. Now what I need to do, I want to, so when you display this output, I don't understand what is this. Okay. What is this 2023? What is this Ash? So I want to display these values in a very readable format. Okay. So for that, I have the system debug statement, the customer code is. So I'm going to write it this way. So it will be a readable format. and plus is going to concatenate. So for this string, it is going to concatenate the output, and we are obviously making some space here. Okay. This is name. Okay. So here it is going to give a little more clear format. The customer code is dot 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 and space, and then the customer code will display. The customer name is dot 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 and then space, and then the customer name will be displayed. Okay, so a little more readable format we are making it. Okay, let's go ahead and execute. First null, then 2023 ash, and then it's like the customer code is 2023, the customer name is ash. So three different outputs will be displayed. Okay, so let's go ahead and execute. Right, it is sent request to server, and here is our debug log file. I just want to see only debug statements. Right, so you see the null values before assignment, after assignment, and then the formatted output. Okay, so right, this is how we are going to write a simple uh, statements, simple programs using making use of our Apex. Okay. So yeah, this is what we did, right? Integer customer code, string customer name, debug customer code. Yeah, null values. Initially it will print, and then we are assigning some values. So it's going to print those assigned values, and then we are formatting the output. So it's going to print the formatted output. Okay, right. This is our assignment. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another assignment. Write an Apex program to define two integer values and perform all the mathematical calculation and represent the result on the log file. Okay, so it's very easy. So you're going to perform calculator operations, not all, maybe addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Those four operations, let's go ahead and do. So let's go to our developer console and the execute anonymous window. I'm going to remove this code. So yeah, this code, we have it in our class notes. Yeah, I'm removing it. Okay, so let's go ahead and write down integer first number. Okay, I can also use the second number here, but I want, let's see, as part of our notes, how we are going to do. We can do anyways we want, first number, second number, and result, and then okay. So we define three variables of type integer. And then what we are going to do is we are going to assign values to the variables. Okay. First number is equals to, let's take an easy one, 2. Second number is equals to, let's take, so first number will take as 10, second number will take as 2, just for, division operation to perform well. Okay. And so simply we can write RE as your result is equals to addition. That is my first number plus second number. Okay, so this is going to do addition, and then I want to print in format output addition of two numbers. So we are going to do it very simple for now, but yes, in coming classes, we are going to make it more complex. But just for you to understand in a clear way, we have these examples, okay? And here I just need to put my result variable. Okay, so this is our simple program for addition, integer first number, second number, and I'm taking To store the result value, I'm taking another variable name result. First number, I'm assigning 10. Second number, I'm assigning 2. And result is equals to first number plus second number. And then I'm going to display this output. Okay. So system.debug, addition of two numbers. And then I'm going to pass on the result value on my debug statement. Okay. Yeah, this is our simple code for addition of two numbers. Let's go ahead and execute. Click on debug only. Addition of two numbers is 12. So we pass 10 and 2. So it's 12. Okay. Right. So similarly, we can write down our subtraction, multiplication. Okay. So all this division. So let's go ahead and do this particular code. Let's go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, write down this particular code. So here, if you see first number, second number result, first number, they have assigned 45,000, second number 1485, result, first number plus second number, and then displaying. Okay. Subtraction, multiplication, division, and mod also we are doing. Okay. Some calculator operations. So I'm going to execute this, open log, execute. I just want to see the debug log only. Right. So addition result is, this is the addition, subtraction result, multiplication result, division result, modulus result. Okay. So these are the, simple operations which we can perform, writing down some Apex program. Okay. So let's go ahead and write down an assignment 59. And this is for you. Okay. Write an Apex program to calculate the sum of first sum of first 50 or 100, whatever you want, first 100 numbers. Okay. Right. So for this, what we are going to do, we are going to use our mathematical formula for finding the sum of first n natural numbers. So hope you remember that formula. It's like n into n plus 1 by 2. So that is the formula which will be the mathematical formula which we are going to use. And by making use of that, you are going to write a small code. Okay. And before you come back in tomorrow's class. So this is the assignment for you. Yeah, I'll ping in WhatsApp group chat all these details. Right. So this is all about today's class. So we have discussed today how our Apex output statement look like, system.debug, and how it is going, how we can navigate to our developer console and then execute anonymous window. And from there, how we can make use of IntelliSense feature and then find out so many details in our already defined system classes like system. Okay. And yeah. So this is our debug output statement, system.debug, and how we are going to execute the code we have done. So for a couple of classes, we are going to use the execute anonymous window only. So once we move on to object-oriented programming, we will be using the developer console also. And in our last 5 classes of Lightning Web Components, we'll be using Visual Studio Code. Okay. So this is not that important one. Okay, URL format. Right. It's an old one in the classic. All right. So yeah, how we are going to execute our Apex code, those 10 ways. And yeah, we are going to talk about flows also in for a couple of classes, because that's very important. That's a new feature, in Salesforce. And how to execute in the execute anonymous window, I have given you the navigation and I have showed you more than 2 times now. So you should be aware. So how to define variables, how to just show the output message, and then how to define variables. And we have also proved that Salesforce is by default assigning null value to any variable which is declared but not assigned any value. So it's going to give a null value. So that we have proved here. Okay. And then we have performed the mathematical calculations on two given numbers. Okay. So the next one is the assignment for you is write an Apex program to calculate sum of first 100 natural numbers. And the hint or the clue for this is you need to use the mathematical principle. Sum of first n natural numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2. That's the formula. You have to use it here and then write the program. Okay. Right. So yeah, that is all for today's class. So we have written a simple programs. Yeah, we will be going a little more complex in the coming classes. Okay. Right. Yeah, that is all for today's class. Have a good day. Thank you.